Brother, please! Omoregie's fingers desperately clawed at the edge of the cliff. His body hung over the enormous drop. Above him stood the one person he never believed would ever hurt him, his own brother. Osagie! For a moment, their eyes met. Omoregie's face was filled with disbelief. Why are you doing this? Osagie's face was hard. You should have given me the land. Omoregie stared at him. The land? Osagie stepped closer. You left me no choice. Brother, please! Omoregie reached for his hand, but Osagie did not pull him up. Instead, he pushed him. Omoregie disappeared over the edge. His scream echoed through the valley. Then, silence. Osagie stood alone at the cliff. He looked down. Nothing. He had finally done it. He had removed the only person standing between him and the land he wanted. But Osagie did not know that the story was far from over. He did not know that the brother he had just pushed into that valley was not going to die. And he certainly did not know that the land he had nearly destroyed his family to possess was hiding something that had been buried there for generations. Something that would make the entire village understand why he should never have wanted that land in the first place. But how did two brothers who once loved each other reach this point? To understand that, we must go back to the day their father divided his land between them.
Many years earlier, in a peaceful village in Edo State, there lived a respected farmer named Igbenosa. He was not a wealthy man, but he was a hard-working man. For most of his life, he had woken before sunrise, worked his farms until sunset, and returned home with the satisfaction of knowing that his family would never go hungry. The people of the village respected him because Igbenosa was the kind of man who would rather suffer in silence than take what belonged to another person. He had two sons. His first son was Osagie, a strong and ambitious young man who wanted more from life. Osagie dreamed of becoming one of the wealthiest men in the village. He wanted a large house, he wanted people to respect him, he wanted his children to grow up without ever experiencing the struggles he had known. But there was one thing Osagie valued above almost everything else: having more than the next person. His younger brother Omoregie was different. Omoregie was patient, gentle, and hardworking. He did not care much about impressing people. If he had enough food for his family, he was satisfied. And unlike Osagie, Omoregie rarely complained about what life had given him. The brothers were different, but they loved each other. They worked on their father's farm together, they ate together, and whenever one of them got into trouble, the other was usually the first person to come running. Nobody in the village would have believed that one day, one brother would try to take the other's life. But that was before greed entered their family. As the years passed, Igbenosa grew old and sick. One evening, Igbenosa lay on his bed and called his two sons. The two brothers sat beside him. His father's breathing was weak. He looked at them for a long moment. Then he said,
"There is something I must settle before I leave this world. I have 2 pieces of farmland. I want each of you to have one. You are my first son. You will choose first." "Father, I choose the bigger land." "You are certain?" "Yes." "And you, my son?" "I will take whichever one is left."
Osagie smiled. He had already made his choice. The larger one was clearly the better one. The land Omoregie chose was smaller. There was nothing about it that made anyone envy the person who owned it. But Omoregie simply nodded.
I am grateful,
I am
Father.
grateful, Father. Igbinosa looked at both sons. Then, with the little strength he had left, he said something that neither brother would ever forget.
My sons, remember this. The size of land does not determine the size of a man's blessing.
Osagie smiled politely, but he did not believe his father. As far as he was concerned, his father had just given him the better inheritance. He had chosen the larger land, and Omoregie had settled for what was left. Neither brother knew that their father's words would one day come back to haunt them, because the land Osagie was so proud to receive would eventually become the very reason he envied his younger brother. And the small piece of land Omoregie accepted without complaint would become the greatest blessing either of them had ever seen. Not long after their father's death, both brothers married. Osagie married Ogosa, a beautiful woman who cared deeply about wealth and status. Omoregie married Efe, a gentle woman who valued peace and family. The brothers began farming. Osagie was proud of his land. Whenever villagers passed by, they admired it, and that gave Osagie confidence that he would one day become the wealthiest farmer in the village. Omoregie's farm was very different. It was small and ordinary, that people often wondered why he had accepted it without complaining. One afternoon, a neighbor asked him,
Why did you allow your brother to take the bigger land? I am okay with what I have.
The neighbor shook his head. For years, everything went well. Osagie's farm produced plenty. Omoregie also harvested enough to feed his family. The two families visited each other. There was no reason for them to fight. Until the year the rain stopped. The streams shrank. The grasses turned brown. Farmers looked at the sky every morning and prayed for rain, but the rain refused to come. The drought became severe. Across the village, crops began to die. Osagie was devastated. His huge farm was becoming useless. He worked from sunrise until sunset, yet nothing worked. Then, something strange happened. Omoregie's small farm remained green. At first, nobody understood. While other farms turned brown, his crops continued growing. Then they began producing heavily. Yams, cassava, maize, vegetables, everything seemed to flourish. Soon, people began traveling from neighboring villages to buy food from Omoregie. Within months, Omoregie's small farm had become the most productive farmland in the entire village, and the younger brother, whom everyone had pitied, became the wealthiest farmer in the area. Osagie watched all of this from a distance. At first, he told himself it was luck. Then he began asking questions. Why was Omoregie's land producing when everything else was dying? Why had his father's smaller land suddenly become so valuable? And slowly, jealousy began taking root in his heart. One evening, Osagie returned home angry. Ogosa noticed immediately.
What happened?
Nothing.
Nothing. You are angry.
Osagie sat down.
Is it not my brother?
What about him?
My land is bigger than his.
I know.
My soil is better.
I know.
Yet his farm is producing more food than mine.
Then take it.
What did you say?
You are the first son. Why should your younger brother be enjoying the land that is now feeding the whole village?
Because it belongs to him.
Does that matter more than your family?
He is my brother.
And you are his elder brother. Ask him to exchange the land.
He may refuse.
Then make him understand that you are the first son.
That night, Osagie could not sleep.
He kept thinking about the land. The small piece of land he had once considered worthless was now more valuable than his own. By morning, he had made his decision. He would ask Omoregie to exchange their land. He was certain his brother would agree. He was wrong. The next morning, Osagie walked to Omoregie's farm. Omoregie was inspecting his crops when he saw his brother approaching.
Brother! I came to talk to you. About what? Our land. What about it? I want us to exchange. Exchange? Yes. But you chose your land yourself. I know. And I have changed my mind. You changed your mind because my farm is doing well. I am your elder brother. That does not change what Father gave us. So you're saying that you won't give me the land? Yes.
Osagie's eyes narrowed. The two brothers stared at each other. For the first time in their lives, there was no love in that silence, only anger. Omoregie's wife, Efe, had been watching from a distance. She quickly walked toward them.
Please, let us not fight.
Osagie ignored her. He looked at his younger brother.
Think carefully about what you are doing. I already have.
Osagie turned and walked away. But he did not walk away peacefully. He walked away carrying something far more dangerous than anger. He was carrying greed. And when greed takes control of a man's heart, even blood can become an obstacle standing in his way. That evening, Omoregie sat outside his home with Efe. The sound of crickets filled the air, but Efe's mind was far from peaceful. She looked at her husband. Please, my husband. He turned. Give your brother the land. Omoregie frowned. Why? Because I am afraid of where this is going. Omoregie sighed. I cannot give him the land. If I give him this land today, what will happen tomorrow? Efe remained silent. Omoregie continued. Father gave us our portions. Osagie chose his. I chose mine. I have never asked him for anything. But he is your elder brother, and I respect him. Then show him respect by giving him what he wants. Omoregie shook his head. Respect does not mean surrendering everything I have. Efe looked down. I know you are right. She lowered her voice. But there's something different about him now. Omoregie looked at her. He is no longer angry because of the land. He is angry because you have what he wants. Omoregie said nothing. That night, Efe prayed that the matter would end peacefully. She had no idea that another woman was praying for the opposite. Across the village, Ogosa sat beside Osagie. He had barely spoken since returning from Omoregie's farm. He refused you again? She asked. Osagie nodded. Ogosa's face hardened. Then you must stop asking. Osagie looked at her. What do you mean? You have asked him nicely. Yes. You have reminded him that you are his elder brother. Yes. And he still refused. Yes. Ogosa leaned closer. Then there is only one way left. Osagie looked at her. What way? She lowered her voice. Remove him. Osagie stared at her. For several seconds, he said nothing. Then he stood. Don't ever say that again. Ogosa remained seated. You think I am cruel? He is your husband's brother. And what has he done for you? Osagie looked away. Ogosa continued. You are watching your farm die, while your brother becomes rich from the land that should have been yours. It is his land. Then take it. Osagie looked at her. How? Ogosa looked directly into his eyes. You are a man. Find a way. Osagie said nothing. He slowly stood and walked away. Ogosa watched him disappear into the darkness, but her words followed him.